Hello, welcome to the history class 10. This is R S Mishra. A strange case of Britain, how it observed a nation state, and we can call it the model of the nation. We can call it the affairs of Great Britain. In the Britain, formation of a nation state was sudden or a revolution. You have seen in Italy and Germany there was a sudden uprising. But Britain, not like that. It had a long drawn out process. And then nation state was formed. Let me confirm first. There wasn't a nation prior to 18th century. People here had their identity, in particular ethical, or you can say the ethic ones, like English, Wales, Scot, and Irish. These ethnic groups, of course, they had their own identity, culture, and political tradition, but different from each other. This was a time process. Land grew, then other, it's an ethical group in view of importance, wealth, and power. And it has an influence over the rest of the ethnic groups there. Since the power of the king in 1688, a monarchy had a protracted conflict. Protracted conflict means there was not any bloodshed. The authorities were not in a position to oppose and take action. They just had to subdue themselves. Now, it was a similar instrument by which a nation state in England came to be forged. It was started in 707. An act, the Act of Union, worked between two, the England and Scotland, and so it formed the United Kingdom of Great Britain. England was now in a position to impose themselves over Scotland. And the British Parliament once again dominated by its British members. Very less member of the Scottish people was present there. The growth of a British identity means that Scotland's distinctive culture and political institution was systematically suppressed. I must explain here England, English people living in England got dominance over Scotland, and Scotland got subdued under English culture. There was some specific identity of the Scottish people. They belong from Highlands, and they were the Catholic clans got suffered very, but whenever they tried themselves to free from British dominance, then you can understand that Scottish were forbidden to speak Gaelic language and their Scottish national dress, and many in large number were driven out of their homelands by the English. Ireland suffered a similar fate when a Scottish was subdued by the British, English you say. Then next island was Ireland. Of course it was a country deeply divided between Catholics and Protestants. Two people were existing. Their ritual ideology were different than one is. Some were followers of old Christianity in England. They were called the Roman Catholics. And other people having idea of Lutheran Christianity. That was a process of reform in society. Luther. It was a time when there was a vast differences in, and the Ireland is a best example of such differences in Ireland. So Protestants, the follower of Lutheran ideology, were supported by English people, and they encouraged them to establish a dominance over the largely Catholic country. Catholics were forbidden in some means. Catholic revolts against and they could not do anything for their welfare. Revolt by the Wolfstone and his United Irishmen 1798. Ireland was forcibly incorporated in the United Kingdom in 1801. So you can see Ireland once again unincorporated in the United Kingdom in 1801. Now we have a set of England, Scotland, Ireland under United Kingdom up to 1801. A new British nation was forged through a propagation of a dominant English culture. And in all these areas, English language, the culture were dominant over them, and local these people were Irish and the Scottish don't have their identities. The symbol of New Britain, the British flag that was called Union Jack, and national anthem was sung as God save our noble king. हे ईश्वर हमारे राजा की रक्षा करो, उन्हें बचाओ. Of course, the English language were actively promoted, and older nations survived only as subordinate partner of this union. So you can say British country by means of Scottish and Ireland was forged and called United Kingdom. We shall have a summary and commentary during next classes on this topic. Let us see, we have talked a lot about the Garibaldi, Giuseppe Garibaldi, who was born in 1807 and 82. You can say he was not a nationalist fighter, but a general of kings, and you can say he may be celebrated as Italian freedom fighter. In fact, he was born in a family engaged in coastal trade and was working as a sailor in merchant navy. During 1833, when Giuseppe Mazzini was active, he met him and joined Young Italy because he was identical minded, same minded. Okay, Giuseppe Garibaldi was similar in ideology as Giuseppe Mazzini of Young Italy, so he joined it and participated in Republican uprising sudden embodiment in 1834. This uprising was suppressed and Garibaldi lost his dominance and he had to flee and fled away to South America, where he lived in exile up to 1848. When the time came, in 1854, he supported Victor Emmanuel II in his effort to unify the Italian states. And ideology was under Giuseppe Mazzini. In 1860, Garibaldi led a famous expedition to the thousands of southern Italy, South Italy. Thousands of volunteers were supporting him and joined his effort. And thereafter, fresh volunteers keep joining through a course of campaign till their number grew to about 30,000. Amazing. The number is 30,000. These were the volunteers of freedom of Italy. And this band, I am saying the military expeditions groups were called especially as Red Shirt, Lal Kurti. आपने नाम सुना होगा, Lal Kurti, Red Shirts. In 1867, Garibaldi led an army of volunteers to Rome to fight the last obstacle of unification of Italy, and it was the Papal State where the French garrison was stationed. There was Naples and Papals. Papals was owned by French and Naples by the Spanish. These red shirt proved to be no match. They kept themselves winning the region and combined building the region, and for the combined French people and Papal troops. Papal was supporting the expedition of Joseph Garibaldi. It was only in 1870 when, during the war, the Prussia, France withdrew its troops from Rome, that was the Papal state were finally joined to Italy, and it was the unification of Italy. Properly engineered by Garibaldi. We have a picture here. He was so helpful, this picture, where it is being shown. He was so loyal to the King Victor Emmanuel II that he is helping him to pull on his shoes, and this shoes name was Italy. Okay, English caricature of 1859, and it was told as Italia. And about Italia, we have learned in many regions, Italia was understood because Italian people were illiterate and they understood Italia is the wife of Victor Emmanuel II. This is the last stop for us. Thank you. Next class, next time.